If you are one of those people who doubt the existence of God, then this talk will dispel that doubt of yours. This talk will not only prove the existence of God to you, but also the fact that your existence is intimately connected with the existence of God. Before I proceed further in this talk, let me just explain what is really meant by the word God. Upanishads define God as Satyam, Gyanam, Anantam, which means God is existence, God is consciousness, and God is bliss. Satyam is existence, Gyanam is consciousness, and Anantam is bliss. These three are not the qualities of God, but the very nature of God. God does not exist, but God is existence itself. God is not conscious, but consciousness itself. And God is not bliss, but bliss itself. Now, these statements might have created a bit of confusion in your mind, and let me clarify that. Let us take these two statements, God exists and God is existence itself. What is the difference between these two similar sounding statements? If we say God exists, then we are reducing God to the level of a thing, because it's for a thing we say it exists. For example, a chair exists. So, when we say a chair exists, we also know deep down in our minds that its existence will come to an end one day. It will cease to exist, right? So, saying God exists will be absolutely wrong, because God does not exist, but God is existence itself. The very nature of God is existence. And when Upanishads say that God is existence, what they mean is that you cannot separate existence from God. Similarly, you cannot separate consciousness and bliss from God, because that's God's essential nature. Now that you know the nature of God, let me direct your attention to your own existence. Do you think you exist? Now, I can hear you say, of course, I exist. But do you also feel that you will die one day? I want you to be utterly and completely honest with yourself. Do you really feel that you will die one day? No one feels that he or she will die one day. Why? Why is it so? Have you ever thought about this? Every day we see people die, and this has been more so in COVID times. We see people die every day, but still we feel deep down that we won't die. Why does it happen? It happens because we are experiencing our true immortal self always. And how could it be not so? How can we ever leave our true nature? We are what we always were, the divine, immortal, conscious being. We are always experiencing our real nature. But identification with body and mind makes us feel that we are mortal beings. Though this identification is there, but still, how can you leave your true nature? Even if you want, you cannot. That's just impossible. Your existence cannot be taken away from you because it wasn't given to you. It's your very nature. Your consciousness cannot be taken away from you because it wasn't given to you. That's your very nature. And similarly, your bliss cannot be taken away from you because it wasn't given to you. It's your very nature. And when you go beyond the identification with body and mind, you realize your divinity and recognize your oneness with God. That's what is said in the Bible, right? The Bible says, "Be still and know that you are God." What happens when you are still? When you are still in body and mind, you go beyond the identification with body and mind and realize that in essence you are God, the infinite divine consciousness.